exercise slant board is an excellent way to improve flexibility, mobility, and strength in the lower legs. And of course, if you've been training for a while, it's a great way to add change and challenge. I'm Susan Arruda. Whenever I get a new piece of equipment, I like to exhaust all ways of being able to use it. I'm strictly going to focus on the lower body and how to get the most out of using this slant board. So first and foremost, I recommend you start with the lowest setting. Because we are working on developing smaller, intricate muscles in the lower legs, we really want to start small and make it progressive. So just a straight squat with the heels lower. You're gonna squat down, and so you're naturally on a slant, so you're going to have to compensate to not fall out of this, and your body is going to need to drop down, and you want to use the legs and keep the back flat and the core engaged. So do not release the core. That is what protects the lower back. So I recommend you situate yourself between a door frame, or I'm in a Smith machine, it's perfect. And so light on your hands to assist, and maybe just do one hand and then drop down and lift. Drop down, so strengthen the calves, then let's extend the arms, working on mobility on those calves. So what you want to be mindful is to watch your alignment. You don't want your knees caving in, so drop the butt down, keep the back flat. So ideally you want a mirror at your side and forwards vision. So you can keep an eye on what your body's doing. We think it's doing the right thing, but often it isn't. So you start with no loads, of course, and then we're going to take it to a stiff-legged deadlift. So in this position, you're going to be hinging from the hips, depressing the shoulders, lifting the chest up so you're in scapular retraction. So if I were holding loads, they'd be down at my sides and my shoulders would be solid and stable. And exhale to lift. So you're going to lower all the way down, and this gives you the ability to go lower than you would if you were just on the floor, of course. And you want to keep a soft bend in the knee. And exhale. And this really works on hamstring flexibility, and most of us have tight hamstrings, so this is a good one. And then we're going to take it to a Romanian stiff-legged deadlift. So in that movement, your knee bends more than it does in the stiff-legged deadlift, and your hips drop back and you lift. So again, if I was overloading right now, I might want to just have a dumbbell in one hand and initially just hold on to something for balance, and you're just going to maintain a flat back, drop down and lift. Unilateral training is so effective in just determining which side is stronger. We have a more dominant side, and that's just normal. So switch off, and ideally you want to start with your weaker side, and if you're able to do a certain number of reps on your weaker side, repeat that on your dominant side. Another option is to perhaps consider an extra set for that weaker side. And of course, one side is always weaker in your balance as well. So again, hinge from the hips, keep the back flat, and keep that chest lifted throughout the movement. And that helps helps you maintain that flat back as well as that scapular retraction. All right, so again, starting everything with initially body weight. So we're gonna do a lunge. So in this position, you're gonna get that back leg back and you're gonna drop down, stationary lunge. Again, holding on to loads after you get started and feel more comfortable. So gauge that after your first set. And so if I extend my leg further back, okay, I'm using more hamstrings. So focus on keeping your hips square throughout the movement and your shoulders down and back. So if you're holding on to loads, you're gonna wanna be mindful of that. So again, extend that leg all the way back and maybe hold on for balance for your first few reps. And I like to put my hands behind my head. That helps to keep my chest lifted. And you want to almost think, pinch your shoulder blades together, and that also helps you keep a flat back as you pelvic tilt, and of course keep the abdominals activated. Exhale. And so that was leg extended, way back, working more the hamstrings. And now we're going to shorten that distance, and that'll place more of the focus on the glutes. So here, you're gonna strive for, when you go down, a 90-degree angle in that back leg. So lift, and focus on your alignment. And both legs are working hard. And let's switch off. Down and up. So I really don't like my knee going in front of my toes. I've had knee injuries, and for me, that is what helps keep my knee safe as well as strengthening it. But alignment is super important. Okay, so we're gonna switch off, and now I'm gonna turn the board so that I'm not facing my backside to you. And we're gonna do the same thing, and this time our heels are elevated. So it's gonna be more quads, more knees. So in this position, you drop your butt down and lift. And hold and lift. Keep that back flat. Keep the abdominals pulled in. And of course, I can be holding on to dumbbells here after that initial first set, which helps you determine how you're doing. Okay, so we're gonna add a calf raise at the bottom of the move. So down, lift, and up. So you're gonna have to fight for balance there. So again, maybe hold on lightly just to begin. And up. And all right, let's go to the top of the move and hold on for balance. Get up onto the toes, down and up, down and up. Fight for balance and focus. Your body's gonna wanna fall forward. You need to fight against that. And down and up, down and up. All right, so now let's do a single leg in this position. So you're gonna come down, bring that opposite leg up and push against that leg if you're not holding on to dumbbells or loading with a bar, which we will do shortly. So down and that striving for that 90 degree in that back leg. That means I'm using more glutes, shorter distance, stepping back. Now really make this difficult and push up as you resist against your hands. And let's switch off. So now down. So now notice here, I'm leaning forward. You do not want to do that. Shift your weight back. Keep the weight straight down towards into the heel and focus on shifting your weight back and dropping down so you're not placing stress on the kneecap in a way that's not productive, not safe. Okay? We want to strengthen the knee. We do not want to injure. So just these little nuances can make the biggest difference. Back and push against that leg. Those static holds are effective. And all right, so now here, let's do a forward fold stretch and a little easier here in this position with the heels higher than the front of the feet, heels elevated. Now turn it around and see how that feels doing it the other way. And there's more of a stretch. Again, always think soft knees and really focus on where you're feeling it in the muscles. Okay, another simple way to do this is to just use it at the edge as a traditional calf raise. Okay, so again, if I wanted to load, I would hold on to one dumbbell if balance was an issue. Otherwise, whoops, you are working to find that position that helps you maintain balance. Now, more dynamic, more intricate muscles in the lower legs have to get involved, but keep that core locked. That makes a big difference. And focus on something in the distance. Exhale. And then all the way down to get a nice deep stretch. And of course, we can do this one side at a time. Calves are strong. They do a lot of work for us in our everyday lives. Walking, taking the stairs, sprinting, calves are working. So switch off. You always want to balance it out on both sides. And all right, take it down to a low squat. Okay, so heels elevated here. And we're gonna hold and do a single leg pistol squat. And drop the butt down, stay lifted through the front of the body, and think about dropping the butt back, pressing through the heel, although it's the entire foot, but you wanna think, go straight up, okay? Now, again, heels elevated makes this possible, more doable, and exhale. Again, always be mindful, when you come to the end of the movement, do not lock out your joints. You want to think straight but not locked. That will save your joints over time. That can add a lot of wear and tear. We don't want that. Drop down. Think about getting this other knee parallel to the other knee. As you come down, and exhale. Keep that upper body lifted and tall, and focus. And breathe. Exhale on the lift. That makes a big difference. Okay. So we're gonna switch off here. I'm gonna turn this on its side, okay? And now here, you're gonna have the lower feet elevated, and this is where you can do an uneven goblet squat. Down, lift, keeping the tension on the glutes as you drop down. And the legs, of course, but the glutes are working hard in this position. And of course, you're gonna wanna switch off, do the same repetitions on both sides. Now again, keep your alignment right. Keep an eye on what your back is doing. You want a slight pelvic tilt. Back flat, shoulders down. Exhale. Okay, let's switch off. And now we're gonna do that with our heels higher and see how that feels. Now straight up and extend that leg to the side. And of course, want to repeat on the other side. So, oops, this way. Okay, so starting off. So more quads in this position with the heels higher. All right. Okay. Now, I recommend that when you load, if you have a Smith machine, use it because it keeps you in alignment and it removes the balance issue to some degree, okay? Because this is linear and it is a great starting point so that you have the opportunity to work on strengthening first and then doing it without the security of the cage, okay? And the catchers as well, so when you're loading. So, again, just the bar to start. Now you want to position the board so that it's under you, and when you stand on it, you want your hips in line with the ankles, and here we go. Down, up. So as you progress, your first set could be on the lowest setting of the slant board. Second set, raise it up a bit. Third set, your highest as you progress. Okay, let's add the calf raise, and heels are lower. Okay, in this position. Okay, more glutes, which we want. Down, down. Let's add the calf raise at the top. Keep the core engaged. Now let's add the calf raise at the bottom and at the top. Hold it up on the toes, all the way down, all the way up. Hold it at the bottom. onto the toes. Keep that pelvis tucked and those abdominals activated to keep that low back protected. Last 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way up. And I always recommend you stretch in between sets. And can you come up on the toes as you lean forward? Get a deep stretch in those hamstrings and calves. And now I want you to go to the bottom of the board and hold on to the top and drop your hips in the opposite direction to get a deeper stretch. Maybe a little bit of dynamic bouncing here, gentle bouncing. When you're good and warm, you can do that safely. And shake it out. So you would want to repeat what we just did with the lunge. Okay, loading the lunge again. You're gonna have to find the position that feels right, the angle when you place that slant board under you. And maybe keep that back leg elevated, down, and lift. Same number of reps per side, and again, maybe do an extra set for that weaker side. I'm thinking of pressing through my heel and driving straight up, which the Smith machine helps you stay in alignment. You can't deviate on that one when you're using this. So that's a nice safety that's in place. Okay, now, of course, let's switch up the board, and we're gonna have the heels elevated, and here we go, down and lift. Now again, we can also choose to do a single leg pike. Load it up. Exhale to lift. Forceful exhalation on the hard part gives you strength for the movement, and it's so important. So I recommend the progression to be body weight first. Then you're going to try the Smith machine if you have access to it. And then would be dumbbells, and then would be the bar, and Olympic bar. So that's what we want to do. And here, we're gonna do a curtsy. So I'm gonna shift my weight back as I step down and then come up. So heels elevated, find position the slant board so that you can be centered to the bar. Okay, so I'm gonna shift it to one side here. And again, it's a little bit of playing around with the angles and where you put the slant board. Okay. Drop it down. I want to make sure that this knee is tracking straight ahead, and I'm dropping down using the legs. Okay, you can step here or bring that leg up. Of course, on the Smith machine, easier to bring that leg up and not really have to worry about the balance component. Down and squeeze. to repetitions, you're going to want to probably start with 10 to 12 reps. And if you're striving for strength, you're going to be in the 6 to 8 reps range. And if you want to build more endurance, 15 and beyond. And just mix it up. You really do need to go heavy to build quality muscle. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself with heavier loads and always try. Okay, down and lift. So again, I want to position that board so that I am at the center of the bar and this feels perfectly safe for my knee. Lift, dropping it down. All right, hold it down here, pulsing it, and kick. Drop, kick. Kick your butt. I'm focusing on putting my weight through my heel and driving straight up, which again, the Smith machine helps with that, and you can't go wrong. You're not having to focus on balance work so much, and you can power through and go heavier, okay? So in this position, I'm gonna do a good morning. So this works on core strength and hamstrings. So you're gonna be here, and again, you might have to play with where you position that slant board so that you can drop down, hinge from the hips, and drive your butt back. And of course, keeping the abdominals engaged and back flat. Keep your head in neutral position and keep that latch from hooking. Always do your warm-up set with minimal loads, a warm-up weight or no loads, and then progress from there. And you want to do 3 to 4 sets of each exercise. Okay, now in this position, we're going to do a single leg squat. So again, drop the heel down and come right up on the toes. And more of a calf raise and lift. So working on mobility on the way down, working on strengthening the calf on the way up. Keep the abdominals pulled in tight and that back flat, so important. And switch sides. All right. Down, stretching out the calves here. Now here, coming up on the toes, we're strengthening them. Lift. Drive that butt back and down as you hinge from the hips. Take note of which is your weaker side, and strive to start with that side. I'm going to do a stiff-legged deadlift. Again, my heels are lower, and play with the movement here. In terms of positioning the board towards right, a little bit further forward, and here you're going to drop it all the way down and up. So I can actually pull back this board a little more so I can go deeper, and that's what I wanted to strive for. Okay, I got my feet on the top of the board here, and in this position, I want you to pull back slightly on the bar so that your lats are engaged. And down and up. So you're almost like a rubber band. Pull back on the bar as you drop down. Keep tension with the arms. Okay, let's turn the board around. Now we're going to have our heels elevated higher than the front of the feet now. And let's try that. So you're going to have to pull back and keep that tension so you don't fall forward. And maintain straight legs as you drive the butt back. Of course, soft knees. You never want to hyperextend or lock out your joints. Down and up. Down here, drive it up. Initiate the action with the glutes. Squeeze. And exhale. All the way down as low as you can go. As much as your flexibility allows you to go. It will improve the more you use this. Down and keep those shoulders in scapular retraction. Lock them in. Down and back. Hold at the bottom. And let's add some pulses. Down. Initiate the action with the glutes. Squeeze to come up. Squeeze. Contract the glutes. Think about the muscle you're trying to work. And exhale to lift. Keep those shoulders pressed down. Keep those abdominals pulling in. Keep them locked. And all the way up. Now in this case, you do not want the safeties on because it will not allow you to go that deep. And of course, stretch out in between sets to maintain your flexibility, to improve on your flexibility, maintain mobility, and just get more out of it. Active recovery should be a stretch. So those are a few moves to start with for the lower legs, and I would again recommend you pick maybe 5 of these or start with all of them and just do one set through, and let me know how it goes, and please comment below, and thanks for training with me. You need a heavy weight on the machine to counterbalance your weight. So we're going to do incline calf raises or slant board calf raises to get into scapular retraction and keep the handles and the load close to the body. And you're coming straight up and lowering all the way down. I've got this slant board at the deepest in setting, but of course it can be adjusted. So think straight up as you're semi-leaning back to counterbalance the heavy load. And keep the core engaged.